Hello YouTube people, in today's video I'm going to show you a new release from Addiesdive, but I'm not doing a full review because, well, basically I already did, because this is essentially the same watch as this one, just different hands and dial. And if you wanna see those, specifications, measurements and whatnot, I'll put link in the description to the video of this watch. In today's video I'm gonna show you how this watch looks like on a bunch of custom straps, of course, as always, and just for fun I'm also going to include this watch, this and these watches, just for fun. Let's play around. This video is sponsored by Addiesdive. Addiesdive has sent me this watch for this video and I get to keep it. Thank you, Addiesdive. So instead of giving you a full review, I'm gonna give you a general overview about this watch. The size of my wrist is 16.5 centimeters or 6.5 inches, and that's how this watch looks like on my wrist. It's fairly large watch, but that's the point of this watch. Nice thing is that it's not that long and it fits within the frame of my wrist fairly nicely. And because this is a quartz watch, it is also a little bit slimmer than its brother. For example, let me give you an example. This one, well, basically the same watch, the same design, roughly speaking, the same shape and everything, except this one is automatic. So this one is actually quite a bit thicker, but mostly from the case back profile, because it has quite some belly sticking out, while this quartz version basically has no belly, as you can see. So the main difference in thickness comes from the belly, as you can see, and that's fairly noticeable, I must say. This beautiful bronze watch on my wrist does sit relatively tall, it's still fairly well controlled on my wrist, because it's basically just a pancake style of a watch on the wrist, but it is a little bit elevated, as you can see, and there is no such problem on a quartz watch like this one. Let me show you. And when I put this watch on my wrist, look, it sits completely flat, hugging my wrist. That's nice. That's actually nice. Yeah, I still feel that it's not a very lightweight watch. It's, well, obviously lighter than automatic, but being quartz, it makes it lighter and more wearable, and, well, there is no way around it. It's still a relatively heavy watch, but not too crazy, to be honest. It actually wears a lot more comfortably than it appears as if it would, according to the dimensions and the size of this watch. It feels actually way better than it looks like it's gonna be, because, it's just hugging my wrist and sitting like some kind of a pancake on my wrist. So another thing that I would like to mention is the dial. So first of all, let's take a good look at the dial, how it looks like, and it does look like something we already seen, right? Hold on a second, let me zoom in a little bit. Like something we already seen, because I already have one watch from Addiesdive with this exact pattern on the dial and the collar, and that's the reason why I am including this watch into this video. Let me show you this watch real quick. This is a little beauty, man. This thing is a little beauty, which has very nice bracelet, by the way. Look, articulation, flexibility. This bracelet is one of the most comfortable bracelets. As far as bracelets go, this is definitely one of the more comfortable ones, because it forms around my wrist as if it was some kind of, I don't know, leather strap or whatever. It's actually very comfortable. It adapts to my wrist very nicely, and the size for my wrist also. Little small watch, little cutie. So you probably already see that the dial on this watch is also basically, well, not basically, it's the same except different indices. The same beautiful bluish dial. Bluish, I'm saying bluish because, well, is it blue? Yeah, it's blue, but it has a slight tint of green as well. So let me give you a good look at this dial, and now look at this one. Yeah, that's the same dial. That's the same, and I really like that. That's a very beautiful dial. And to be honest with you, I think this dial actually fits this watch a little bit better, because Well, with this it shades into the black, and then you see just this raw re-hot. The dial on this watch is sitting, well, relatively deeply, I would say. I wish I would see a little bit less of a sidewall inside the watch, or I wish the sidewall was polished out or something. You know, it's sticking out just a little bit too much for my liking, to be honest. While this diving style watch doesn't have such problem, because it has nice chaptering, which is black, and this blackness continues on the bezel, you know. So this blackness basically starts from the bezel, goes into the chaptering, and then on the edges of the dial. And I think this forms around this dial very, very beautifully, and that's why I think the dial on this watch actually looks a little bit better than on its small brother, you know. Now another little comparison which I would like to make is next to this watch, which, well, basically it's also quartz. It's essentially, well, it's the same watch, except it has different colored bezel, different hands, and different dial. So let me give you a quick look how it looks like. Okay, it's nice that it has this greenish, it has green chaptering, which plays together nicely with a green bezel. Obviously it has those nice vertical stripes. It's a good looking watch. Now the vibe of this watch is very nice. It has very happy vibe, this watch. So let me quickly throw it on my wrist and show you how it looks like. Well, it sits exactly like that because it's basically the same watch, you know, just different design. So that's how this one looks like. Very good watches, by the way. I really like them because, well, they are quartz, they show date, and they have sapphire crystal with bluish anti-reflective coating. I'm not sure if you can really see that, but it has a rather noticeable blue anti-reflective coating. And funny thing is, there is only one watch in this video which doesn't have sapphire crystal, is this one. I would normally say this is actually my favorite out of the bunch, because it has the form factor which I like the best. Even though it's a diving style watch, but it's very slim. I am not going to tell you measurements, you know, not gonna go into geeky nerdy things in this video, telling you the numbers. I just gonna give you the visuals, and from the visuals, I mean, just look at this thing. It's very special looking watch. I so wish it had sapphire crystal, this watch, because it would definitely be my favorite. It was my favorite. It actually was my favorite before I got a scratch on this mineral crystal. And after I got a scratch on this mineral crystal, I kinda lost my motivation with this watch. It's a lovely, awesome watch. The slim form factor is incredible, but mineral crystal on this watch makes me feel like this watch is just some kind of toy. I know. I had an idea of swapping it out for the sapphire, but I just lost my motivation. Anyway, beautiful watch. If you don't mind having a mineral crystal on a watch, nice option, very, very nice option. But for me, it's like a major flaw, man. Having this watch without sapphires, it's quite a bummer. I'm still annoyed, as you can probably tell. I'm still annoyed. Addiesdive, please make an updated version of this watch with sapphire crystal. Oh, please, please, please. Anyway, back to this watch. And another thing which I would like to show you is the bezel, because the bezel on this watch is simply wonderful. Very, very good action. It's very stiff. I basically can't even, well, I can't really move it much with just my single finger. It needs quite some effort, you know. That's nice. The bezel is very stiff. Actually, turning it right now with two fingers, my fingers are a little bit slipping. I have to grip it really tight to even turn it, but it feels nice. It doesn't feel grindy. It feels very lubricated, like it was lubricated with some kind of very, you know, thick oil. And alignment, well, alignment I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Speaking about alignment, let's try again. Let's try the alignment on this bezel once again. So I guess one more click. Okay, well, alignment is actually good. Yeah, I think the alignment is good. Well, first of all, let's not forget the price point of this watch. It's actually a very cheap watch considering what specifications does it have, so it's nice, it's nice. And also bezel feels the same on this watch as well. Yeah, it's the same bezel, very nice bezel. Sounds awesome, I feel each individual click. It's a little bit like, you know, you can't complain that it has a little bit of a playback, but the thing is that once it stops in a place, you know, move back, and that's it. It doesn't spring back anymore, while some other bezels actually do spring back. This one, is it aligned? Maybe one more click? Seems good enough, seems good enough, you know. By the way, interesting thing about this bezel is that it is bi-directional. This is the only watch that I ever had that has bi-directional bezel, and it sounds completely different from anything else. It has very deep rumble kind of sound, you know. Now, interesting thing about this, hold on, I just wanted to try. I'm sorry guys, I'm just playing and messing around, I'm just having fun, okay? Bear with me. This one, you know, it sounds a little bit different from... Oh, this has low pitch, sorry, not low pitch, high pitch sound. High pitch sounds sound like, well, how I called these animals that squeak at the end of the summer? That, you know, those little cockroaches that jump very high. How are they? Oh, come on, how I forgot the name of them. Seriously. Well, I don't know, tell me in the comments. Little animal that jumps very high and makes sound, this kind of sound at the end of the summer. Seriously, forgot the name of that little animal. Jogos, but how it's in English, I don't know. I remember in my native languages. Anyway, the sound of this bezel is also deep rumble. Yeah. Hold on a second, maybe I can try to record it. Okay, and now this one. No, this actually I like this better. I like high pitched sound. It's like it sounds like some kind of ratcheting tool. High quality ratcheting tool. It sounds really nice. Okay, let's leave it in center. And you know what? Let's transition to another watch. Perhaps this one. Let's play with this one a little bit, because why not? Speaking about bezels, let's... Oh, this one is like something in between. This one is high pitched. This one is like low rumble. This one is something in between. Nice, nice, nice. But this one, the problem with this one is that it's a little bit too loose. Well, maybe because it's very large, you know, so it's actually easier to turn it than a small bezel. But I wish the bezel on this watch a little bit tighter. Anyway, I want to give you a good look of how this orange sunset watch looks like. The dial on this watch is really nice. I did photo shoot on this watch and I was actually very happy with the results of how pictures looked like on this watch. Watches like this one are actually very easy to photograph because they have this, you know, very contrast look, and you don't even need much effort because the watch itself already is very striking, very active, you know, visually. Hold on a second, let me move hands out of the way. By the way, guys, tell me in the comments, do you like this style of a video? Because for me, this is actually the easiest style of the video to make. I'm just playing, having fun. And I hope this video feels a little bit similar to the unboxing video. And I noticed that you really love unboxing videos, so I'm just trying to alter my style of my videos a little bit towards, you know, more entertaining style of things where I'm just playing with a bunch of watches and honestly just having fun and giving you some visuals to enjoy, hopefully, you know, hopefully. Anyway, also interesting thing, big watch, this one big watch, this one big watch, this one big watch, but this one dwarfs them all. You know, this is extra large, and there is actually one watch model in between considering the size. So if you speaking about the size, you know, speaking about diving, well, first of all, this one is definitely a small watch. Next is in size would be this one, then this one. Well, from the top view, basically the same size, right? This is also bigger, and now we're moving into even larger. Hold on a second, I actually skipped one watch, I think. Yeah, skipped one. This one is probably considering the size one, yeah, we would put this watch right there. So let's take a better look before we move on to other watches. How is this thing? Well, this one is actually, to be honest, least of my favorites out of the bunch that you see on the table, but I see why some people like it, because it has this kind of monochromatic look, you know, no colors, nothing is like black and white, and I actually like that. I also like that. I just don't like one thing, that the rehaut on this watch is super deep. It's, I don't know, that the style of this kind of watch, yeah, but it doesn't really appeal to me very much. I much rather prefer watches like this one, where it has nice chaptering and you basically don't even pay attention to the rehaut because it's part of the design. And on this watch, this rehaut is like something, looks like something is just not finished. This watch looks like it's just not done yet. It's undercooked. That's how it looks like anyway. But some people might like it. Anyway, I like the monochromatic look of this watch. That's the thing. I like black and white kind of, you know, thing. And how is the bezel? This one has deepish rumble, I must say. Let's try if I can record it. Let's try if I can record it. Okay, that's the sound of this bezel. Okay, move on. Moving on, by the way, speaking about the size, bigger, and now, ta-da! Hold on a second. No, this is the biggest. By the size, yeah, like this. So we skipped this one. So let's take a better look at this watch right now, okay? And by the way, I have two of these, but about this one a little bit later. Now is this one. This looks rather similar, I must say, to, where is it? Hold on a second, I lost it. Here it's hiding right there. Very, you know, similar in colors. You know, white dial, green bezel, but somewhat different. Well, definitely different. It's different design. Let me move those hands out of the way. Get two hands out of the way, like that. Big watch, but also short. Big but short, and even on my small wrist, it doesn't look too crazy, I must say. Well, it depends how you look at things, but it doesn't look too bad. I sometimes like something like this crazy on my wrist. And speaking something crazy like this, I'm currently looking at the market of G-Shocks. I so miss having a big bulky G-Shock for some reason, I don't know. I just miss having some G-Shocks, and this kind of reminds me those big bulky G-Shocks. You know, they are quirky, they are comically large, but they are so much fun. And this watch with this form factor kind of reminds me that, and that's probably why I like these kind of watches, these big bulky watches. You know, funny enough, I have small wrists, but I still enjoy something like this from time to time. That's nice, you know. I just like watches in general, and I find it fun. So interesting thing on this watch is that the dial has a texture. Dial has this texture, a little bit shiny. It's interesting. Also like it has white chaptering. Very nicely finished watch. Nothing looks like is unfinished. Everything is nicely done on this watch. And now from this one I would like to move towards this one a little bit, because this one reminds me G-Shocks even more because, well, it's fully black, you know, it's like some kind of resin watch, but it's actually stainless steel PVD coated watch. Yeah, I like the black dial on this one. It's like it's very deep black. It seems like it doesn't have any texture, nothing. It's like glossy black, my kind of, actually my favorite. It's basically every time I get a watch with a black dial, and if that black dial has some kind of texture, it's not shiny, I'm like, oh, I wish it was glossy black, you know. Always means something in mind, like this one and this one, but about this one a bit later. First of all, let me put this thing on my wrist. Oh, I like it. I like it. This is a lot of fun, this watch. It's comically large, it has this comical shape and everything, and it looks like something that a Batman would wear, but that's probably the point. I like that. You can't deny this is fun. This is fun. Also, I haven't showed you bezel action on this one, so let's move back to this one. This one has it has deep rumble, but also at the same time high pitch as well. But the problem with this one is a little bit loose, but at least it's, you know, it's well protected. Okay, and is this the same? Yeah, this is actually the same. Exactly the same. Alignment seems fine. Now, another, speaking about black dials, I skipped this watch somehow, which is probably, well, speaking about, you know, which one is the nicest, which one I like the best out of the bunch of watches that I just showed you today. I think this looks the coolest, but that's just my opinion, you know, because it's full black. I just like full black watches. That's what I like. But the prettiest, if I would have to choose the prettiest, I would kind of, you know, this thing, is it prettiest? No, I don't think it's prettiest, but I think it's the most special because of its form factor, because it's rather slim like that and it's rather special. I really like this one, but it's not the prettiest. Is this one prettiest? You know, I like small watches, I like this dial. No, it's not the prettiest because this re-hot, it just pokes my eyes a little bit, so dropping that off. Now between these two, I'm not sure, you know, let's take a little bit better look at this watch before I decide which one I like better, because this one is definitely one of the nicest, one of the nicer looking ones, you know. Let me set the hands in some nice location. And the thing about this watch also, yeah, it has this black glossy dial, which I like very much, and it has very nice sapphire crystal, this watch. It has, you know, it is bubbly and has this very beautiful blue anti-reflective coating. I know some people don't like it, but me, I actually like it very much. It looks like some kind of soap bubble on a watch. I like that effect. I kind of wish that, you know what, brands would start making colorful crystals. Well, that would be cool. Just imagine if a watch would have some a little bit reddish tint crystal. Like, for example, let's take this watch. Okay, let's make a bezel red and make indices dark red, white dial, but let's make the crystal with a slight reddish tint. I think that will look cool. So all kinds of different colors, that would be interesting new trend. You know, instead of making different colored dials like this one, let's make different colored crystals. You know, that would be fun. That would be really fun. So that's the idea. That's probably why I like having some, you know, color on the crystal like this one. It looks so good. Also, like from this profile view, this crystal is sticking out so nicely. You know, a nice thing is that it's not fully rounded bubble. It's just sides are sticking out, but the middle portion is flat. I really liked it. Somehow, the proportions look just so great on this watch, except for one thing. For one thing, I don't like this watch. This is rather thick watch. You know, looking at thickness, at the bulkiness, this is a thick watch. It would be so much better if it was slimmer somehow, you know. Just imagine if this watch, well, actually, hold on a second, sorry for messing around, but hold on, I just want to do a little comparison to make a point. I mean, this watch could have a little bit chopped down the edges of the case on the bottom. That would help, and I wish it was slimmer. I mean, I actually prefer this style of a case a lot better, when sides are polished out and rounded like that. That's what I like. This is my favorite kind of a, you know, shape for the side of the case. This is perfect, as good as it gets. This one, brick design. How does it look like? Like a brick. It looks like a brick. That's what I don't like about it. It's nicely brushed. It has nicely polished out edge on the top. Okay, it's fine, but I wish it would have also nicely polished edge on the bottom, and would be a little bit slimmer. This case back also sticking out quite much, which effectively makes this watch feel rather top heavy on the wrist, you know. Feels a little bit top heavy. You can get used to that, but it's still, I always wish it was just, you know, like, I can't get this watch out of my mind. The form factor of this watch is just as perfect as it gets, really. So every other watch I just unintentionally kind of compare to that, but still, really awesome watch. I really like the design of this watch. looking from top down like that, you know, or on extreme angle looking to the crystal. Anyway, I believe I'm talking too much. So anyway, what watches have I showed you already? You know what? Let's put them all on the table, back on the table. So oh, by the way, I forgot about beauty. So which one is the most beautiful? These two are definitely the contenders to the #1 place out of the bunch. Which one is better looking? Difficult to decide, boy. Difficult to decide. I really like the dial on this watch. I think it looks really great on this diving style watch. This black chapter, this black bezel. Those indices, squared indexes also on this watch, they look just nice. And the form factor also. This side of the case, as I told you, I like rounded off polished side cases like this one. Yeah, I actually like this one. But it's one of those comically large form factors, you know. So give me a little bit more time, okay? Give me a little bit more time. This one, do I like this one better as a pretty watch, or do I like this one better? Which one I like better? I don't know, man. I don't know. I would say this one is prettier. I really like this dial. Yeah, this one is prettier. Anyway, moving on. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you the lume of this watch, and we're gonna play with some different straps. The lume shot. So I tried my best to charge them all. Guess which one is the star of the show? Difficult to say because they all shine rather nicely, you know. This one, not so much somehow. So let's put this one to the side. But and this one, well, this is that little watch. Of course, it's a little watch, so it shines a little bit less, okay? Because there is just less of the lume on this watch. Understandable. Now the star of the show is actually this one, and as you can see, the lume on this watch is really nice. It's blue. It's all the same intensity and color. I already tried it as my night watch, and there is no trouble telling the time on this watch in the morning. It's actually no trouble telling the time on either of these. Neither or either. What should I say? Either or neither. Neither of these watches have trouble telling the time in the morning, you know. They all have very good lume that lasts easily throughout the night. So turn the lights back on, so you can quickly see which watch is which. And you know what, let's turn them off so you can take a better look at the lume once again. So now we know which watch is which watch. Anyway, this one, by the way, I believe this is that fully black one, right? This one is also, it's not the strongest. This is a rather old model. Hold on a second. This is, yeah, the black one. Older model. It's still decent lume. It still lasts till the morning, but it's not as good as the rest. You know, this, sorry, I'm losing my voice. This one, sorry, I can't speak anymore. This one has slim indices though, so that's what you see, but it still lasts easily throughout the night. Anyway, that's enough about the lume. My point is that if you care about the lume, you probably aren't gonna be disappointed with neither of these watches. So let's play a little and let's see how this watch looks like on a bunch of different straps, starting with this shiny green nylon strap. By the way, you can find all these straps that you see in this video on my website, thomaswatchreviews.com. So how is this combination, blue and green? I'm confused. I kinda like it, but I am not sure. I'm not sure if it looks right. This green and blue is probably alright, you know. This green nylon strap gives off a little bit of I don't know, vintage aesthetics probably. Kind of fits this watch, I must say. But probably gray one looks a little bit better on this watch. Yeah, I like gray better. I just like gray straps. And I think this gray strap looks actually better on this watch than the previous green one. Somehow it just gives off a little bit of a cool image, I would say. Man, this dial. Like, look, it's pointing towards the light. It looks like this black surrounding is like fading in, fading out, fading in, fading out. It's like it's pulsating. Yeah, it's nice. This dial is very nice, I like it. I like it. The whole watch is nice, very nice watch. Also, I think this elastic nylon strap looks rather good on this watch. I think black strap with white line in the middle, it looks just nice. Something just visually plays very nicely with the design of this watch. I like it. I do like it. And another nylon strap, green again, but it looks quite different. Hold on a second, let me give you a comparison. This shiny nylon strap, you know, it looks shiny and it's smooth, it has no texture. I somewhat believe that strap with this texture fits this watch a lot better. By the way, this is also a two-piece nylon strap, rather thick one, rather soft one, price around €2. Very good strap, by the way. Yeah, I think it looks great. This one looks a lot better than a pass-through nylon strap somehow. It keeps, you know, the slimness of this watch. It doesn't erase it when it's just simple two-piece nylon strap. And also, what do I like about this watch is that this gap between lugs is polished out. So when you put a custom strap on it, not only it's nice that it's, you know, straight, so there is no extra gap between the case and the strap, but also this bit is shiny, it's polished out. It's nice, that's nice. By the way, I haven't showed you the back of this watch in this video, I believe. Let me give you a quick look, if you care. Nice, looking nice. That's how it looks like. Yeah, so on this strap, yeah, I think it looks good. Very nice combination. Very similar strap to the previous one because it's also two-piece nylon strap, thick one, nice one. The difference is obviously the color and the keeper. This one has single big piece of keeper on the strap. So how is this blue color on this watch? You know, interestingly, this dial, when you look at this watch alone, it looks like blue, bright blue, something like teal, I don't know, I'm not sure. But if you put it next to the dark blue color, then it suddenly appears as if this dial is a little bit green, you know? Even though it's actually blue, so that's interesting play of color. Yeah, I think it looks really good on this strap. Looks proper. And very, very comfortable combination, by the way. These straps are very comfortable. And a gray silicone strap, which is very comfortable strap, by the way. How it's looking like on this watch. Bright gray strap. Not bad, not bad. Very safe option, you know, very safe option. You can't go wrong with such combination. You know, gray strap fits everything basically. Looking good, looking good. Now a mesh style bracelet. How is it looking like? Well, I'm not sure. This gap seems to be a little bit large on the strap somehow, because, you know, those holes inside lugs are rather low and far away from the case, but yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Not sure. Like this shiny mesh style bracelet on this watch kind of fits nicely, but I mean, shiny and shiny. But no, I'm not liking it. Somehow, strangely enough, I'm not liking this combination. And this one is a rather popular strap, I noticed, and I do like it personally as well. Very nice strap. And how it looks like on this watch. Very colorful though, very colorful. But I must say the intensity of color of this strap basically matches the intensity of the dial, so it's kind of alright. But yeah, a bit colorful, not sure about that. A bit much perhaps, isn't it? It looks cool, but I'm not sure. There are other options that I like better somehow. And we are back on the original bracelet to the end of this video. So how can I summarize this watch? What can I tell you? Well, as I see right now, the price is €66 for this watch. And let's not forget what this watch is. It has good sapphire crystal. It has very good lume performance. It has very good water resistance. It has ceramic bezel with very good action. And overall, it's a very beautiful watch, well-built watch. €66, and that's before all kinds of crazy sales. So soon there will be November 11 sale, so I believe it's gonna be even cheaper than that. it's a very good watch, you know. It's a very good watch. That's what I can tell you. You know, I like quartz watches. I like that it's a little bit lighter than if it was mechanical. I like it that it's slimmer, and I like that it's quartz in general. I like that I can beat it around, throw it around, not care about this watch, and it's still gonna beat second to second reliably and accurately, and that I really like. And I like that it has date window. I really like that on a tool style watch like this one. And the beautiness, the prettiness of this watch. Oh boy, this dial is really nicely done. Very, very tastefully done. I really love this shade from black to this dial. It's so beautifully done. Well done, Addiesdive, well done. Very nice watch. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day. Goodbye.